Hey, what's up? It's Valar. Hope everybody's doing awesome. So today I'm going to do a video about the teams that I focused on as a beginner, and I'm still a beginner actually. I'm still very much early game within the game right now. But my clan leader, big shout out to him, or I keep calling it clan, alliance leader, Arno Knight. Thank you so much for the support and helping out with the clan too. He just had an idea that, I asked my clan, my alliance mates, what they would like to see in a video, and he said he'd like to see the teams I chose to start out with and why I chose them versus other teams and how far I leveled them and any regrets. So that's going to be kind of the focus of today's video, and also some recommendations of what I would do differently and everything as well. So we'll get right into it without any further ado. I am working on my AIM team right now, and I'd highly recommend that for beginners as well. But what did I do first? So the very first thing I did, and I'll admit I wasn't very focused. I was kind of playing super casually, but I went into Guardians. So I started in July. Well, I guess it was probably the end of June or July of 2020. So about 5-6 months ago now. And 5 months ago, actually. Yeah, 5 months. Almost 5 months to the day. Minerva was the login reward, so it was actually huge. Minerva is like only Premium Orb exclusive character, one of the Premium Orb exclusive characters. So they were giving it away for free that month, so you got a big head start then. And Star-Lord's event had just ended, I want to say, or had just been like right when I started playing. His event was there, so. Since this game is so focused on having to farm characters to get legendaries, I figured I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy first. And I actually love Guardians of the Galaxy as characters, so I'm going to go that route. Now, I know there's a lot of content creators that have said, go Guardians, but Star-Lord is not as good as what he used to be. However, I don't necessarily believe that's true. I just think that there's so much more things in Endgame that he's outshined at that point. But I think he's been pretty good for my account. Now, that being said, I will say I probably invested a little too much into them at first. And that's probably something that I regret. But I did go with them thinking, okay, the rotation on Legendary is about every 3 months. So if Star-Lord's in July, I'm probably going to have to wait till October to get him. But it'll give me enough time to farm everybody else. And the availability of these characters is actually really good compared to other teams. So it's an easy legendary to farm first, is what I thought. And, okay, here's one of the regrets I might say is maybe I shouldn't have put a T4 in one of these. I T4'd 2 abilities on Star-Lord. I actually like them. Like, hey, I think they're good, So I didn't T4 this one yet, but that's one of his amazing abilities. I'm not going to give him all T4s. And I've already brought him up to level 70, and he's just shy of Gear 13. But I am going to use him in Dark Dimension 2, most likely. Rocket is also just shy of Gear 13, level 70. So the thing that I think may have been unnecessary is I poured so many resources that I could have spread a little more wide into just Guardians at first. Now, they're my best team by far, team power-wise and everything. They're like 226-ish. The negative is, too, they're a fairly weak arena team. They're not, without Star-Lord, they really aren't that good. And I was using them for pretty much everything because I just bought a whole bunch of packs. Like, I was buying every team pack in the store and all random, X-Men. Everything that came with character shards, I was buying an X-Men. The only thing that they didn't have was like an Asgardian or Symbiote pack. You had to buy those individually, and I didn't buy either one of them. So anyway, and I T4'd Mantis's ability. Always getting charged here. That was probably a complete waste of a T4, actually. I'm not really even sure, to be honest with you. But, I kind of regret it. The rest of it, I brought everybody up to pretty much 6, 6, 6, 4, and I also threw a T4 on Groot. So you can see this is just the biggest thing too is I way over invested in Guardians most likely for where my account is at. If I was, playing a game for 2-3 years already and I had all kind of resources, I just loved Guardians and wanted to go into it, I might actually think that that's not that big of a deal. but it kind of made it so I'm going to show you what my roster looks like. But before I do that, one more thing I forgot. My daughter's favorite character, one of my oldest daughter's favorite character is Gamora in like all of Marvel. She loves Gamora. And I invested way too much in Gamora. I stopped it short on 6664, but when I was using her, she's gear 12. So putting her up to gear 12 is probably unnecessary because you don't need any of that to really unlock Star-Lord. And he is cool in the fact that he's one of the only legendaries where his team actually unlocks him. So you already have the team ready to go when he's off the bench, when he gets on your roster for you. So I'm going to show in the Blitz, sorry about that. I'm actually going to show the teams that I have. So because I did that, here's the regret I have, right? They're at 234, actually. They're even higher than I thought. I have Symbiotes, X-Men, Sinister Six, and now AIM. So I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. I don't even know if that's a lot or not. And then my 5th month that are over 100k power. And then I have a bunch of teams that are just mishmashed together because they all don't, synergize some of them. Like I threw Captain Marvel in here because I don't have Hela. But I haven't really worked on them that much. I haven't worked on Defenders, although I wouldn't recommend working on Defenders. I have Fantastic Four, but Invisible Woman's basically 80% of the power there. I have Magneto as well, but I haven't worked on these guys pretty much at all. I've just taken them to a very low progression point. I've got in Marauders, haven't worked on them. So that's the kind of thing that I could have maybe said, okay, maybe I'll get everybody on Guardians to like gear tier 9 and say level 55 or something and get them 5-4-4-2 on their abilities and then start doing that with a much broader range of teams. In the long run, I don't think it matters. I don't think there's really a right or wrong way. But if I had to say what I regret, it would be kind of that. Now I'm going to go look at the other teams that I built to show you guys. So we'll look at X-Men. And then X-Men here, I bought the pack for the X-Men. I didn't farm them, so you can't really farm them from the very beginning. You got to buy I think it's like $25 pack. Some of them are like $9 or $10, I want to say. I don't remember. But it was $25 for X-Men. I remember that. However, I did use them in Arena. The weird thing about X-Men 2 is they're not really amazing until late game and you get Phoenix, so I probably built these guys a little too tall as well. But they're doing all right. I mean, although the funny thing is I didn't put any 6.6, 6.4s into them, and I don't think I T4'd a single one of them looking at any of this. Yeah, I haven't even put any purple ability mats into them. So I maxed out whatever the blue ability mats could get you, and not even on her I didn't. So I bought Beast. I don't know if they were selling Beast or something. So I did kind of wail a little bit at first. I really only spend maybe $50 a month, maybe $20 to $50 a month now. But the first month, I admit, I was just wailing like crazy on some of the stuff, but wailing on the wrong teams too. So that's another regret I have, is I would have wailed if instead of just playing it for like, I'm going to go to the Guardians of what I like. If I was going to stay focused, I should have actually wailed on Symbiotes and definitely on Asgardians because like Black Bolt's event is going on right now. Would have been able to unlock him. I'm going to have to wait and pass on him until the next time he's around, which will be the 3rd time he's here since I've been a player. But the first time I didn't have any shot whatsoever. But I could have got him this time if I had just spent the actual monetary resources on going into farming and getting Asgardians as opposed to just spreading everything out like this. So it's not that big of a deal, though, because I did actually feel like I actually have a pretty decent account for where I'm at for playing. The other team that I worked on was Sinister Six. And why did I work on Sinister Six? God, every video I'm saying I can't say Sinister Six. Just the old school 5 that have been in here on the top. Plain old, they unlocked 2 legendaries, and I thought they'd be 2 legendaries that are fairly easy to get in some Invisible Woman and Shuri, and they were. I had them 5-starred for the most part. I think I had 4 out of 5 of them almost 6-starred, and then one of these guys, I believe it was Shocker, was actually not quite to 6 stars yet, and I couldn't finish getting him to 6 stars without going nuts by the end of the Invisible Woman event. So I said I'll just settle for 5-star this time. But now when Shuri rolls back around, which should hopefully be mid-December, I'll actually have the chance of getting a 6-star Shuri because of the Sinister Six here. Now, I also wanted to invest in them too because I like them as characters, but also because it's a bit more important late game. But if you can unlock Dr. Octopus, they actually go up in value, although I think it's more with Electro and Swarm as well. But okay, you get the point why I invested in Sinister Six. All right, the other teams that I just now started working on. So really, it's those 3 teams, the Guardians, X-Men, and Sinister Six, that I put almost all my resources into for the first, I don't know, 3 months, 3.5 months of playing. If I'm playing 5 months, yeah, probably 3.5 months of playing, I would say. I put everything into those guys. And then once I got Star-Lord, I put even more gear into the Guardians and everything. I just really focused on them even more because they are still my primary raid team. And they're good. In U6, they're actually really good. They can't get to the top nodes. We do U6-5, and my Guardians can actually get, like, I'm in the like lane 2, and then on anyway, my Guardians get almost to the end. They can't finish the last like 2 nodes before you get to Ultimus at the top there. So anyway, the other teams that I would highly recommend and I am now working on, so I'm actually just working on this team because I had talked about Black Bolt, and I'm working on my AIM squad. I actually need to work up AIM Assaulter more, but I had AIM Monstrosity with a decent star level already. From just opening a ton of Blitz Orbs and everything. So I was going to see if maybe I'd try to actually use him first. So my ideal thing is that get everybody to level 60 right here and 6664. And then I'm going to probably stop on this. But that is what I'm working on right now. So I've got Scientist Supreme and Graviton where I want them right now. And then I've got AIM Security. I'm going to invest a few more T3s into her. And the same thing with AIM Researcher. But everybody's going to get to level 60. 6664, or if they're the minions, whatever it is, 666. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, I guess that's it. 664. Okay, there's not a 666 on them. All right. Anyway, you can tell how new I am with all this stuff, right? So that's the team I would recommend. I might even recommend if you're a beginner, go right for this team right away because I feel like they might be able to take you a little bit further, and they have a little more endgame viability too. But the main team that, if I were a beginner and I was willing to spend money, I would go after is the Symbiotes because they are amazing. I mean, I use them in raids now, and I've taken them up in T4, the passive on Symbiote Spider-Man. I've got Venom here at 6664, level 65. I've got the passive on Carnage at T4, and I've got the passive on Anti-Venom at T4. And then I've got her at 6664. I took a break from actually going on them right now because, like I had said before, I sort of felt like I built things too tall, and it might be a good idea to really build the symbiotes tall. I just don't think I can do it right now, and I think it's more important for my roster to actually build more teams because I need to be able to participate in war more and have a deeper roster where I actually can contribute more. Rather than just one amazing team that, okay, I use it once and I can't do anything with it after that if I'm looking at war. I wanted to be able to be more of a good alliance member that actually has a better roster. So anyway, for now I'm going to leave these guys at like level 65 is what I took them up to at pretty much where they're at. Until I farm up a couple other teams. I'm going to come back to them. I'm going to max out Symbiote Spider-Man as far as like level 13, gear 13 at this point. Because he's at gear 11, so he's almost gear 12. And then I think everybody else I left at gear 10 for right now. So that's kind of like my point of things right now is level 60, 6664 for the most. Because I don't have ability to get a lot of orange materials right now. Because I'm still using AIM to try to actually get to Hela's node. And then actually be able to farm the level 7 campaigns. Which is huge as well. So to kind of sum things up, because I know the video is getting a little long, and I don't want to spend a half hour or anything, like, just spewing at you guys. So do me a favor though, if you find any value, if you just like the content or whatever too, please subscribe to the channel. I am trying to grow an audience here as well. I've played Raid Shadow Legends for like gosh, two and a half years. I don't even know what it is now. It's 2 years basically. And then this game, I love Marvel characters. I actually am going to play Raid at some point again, but I'm taking a long break and playing this primarily right now. Anyway, so my recommendations to sum things up are going to be the teams you should go after if you don't want to spend money. So there's a lot of variables based on if you're spending money, if you're not spending money, what legendary came up, sort of like I thought, what legendary is coming in the rotation. So it does make sense to look when you start and say, okay, if Star-Lord just came out like I did and the legendary rotation is every 3 months, well, now I know I have 3 months to work on him and I'm going to get him most likely, right? So right now, Black Bolt, like if you're a new player, Black Bolt just came out. I would say, okay, if you're willing to spend money, go after the Asgardians because the next rotation you're going to be able to get him and it'll just put you that much further ahead and you'll be able to get a top tier legendary. It's one of the best in the game, the best damage dealers in the game, right? I would also recommend going after AIM because you need them for the late campaign nodes in the villains campaign. They're a very good raid team. They could have some arena viability if you're a newer player as well, even though they're not that great on arena defense, but they actually are a good war team too. So the only negative is they don't unlock any legendaries. So you're going to sacrifice on going after legendaries if you focus on them. But in the long run, like I said, it all evens out kind of, right? And then the other one I would say, which I haven't even invested in because they did the reworks when I was already into like hardcore going for the Guardians. So you can see where they're not even worked on at all. But Wave 1 Avengers, I am going to work this team up. So it's one of the ones I want to work on next so that I can actually have like a solid overall team. And I still don't have Hela yet, so I can throw Thor in there and kind of, run the Wave 1 Avenger team. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful or insightful in any way for people. I would really like to be, if you have any ideas or anything like that you want to see videos on, please put it in the comments. I'll do my best to actually try to make them. And I'm going to end it right there. Thank you so much for checking it out. Again, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. And everyone have an awesome day.